Today's the day that I read A Little Life. Welcome back everyone to another video. As you can see in this title, today we are going to be reading A Little Life by Henya Yanagihira. I don't know if I'm saying that right, but sorry, I was just like reveling at the book. Yeah, people say this is the saddest book of all time, and I actually never thought I was going to read this book, to the point where I've actually seen a full spoiler reading vlog of this book, so I know exactly what happens. I know what happens at the end, I know what happens to the characters, I know all the triggers, I know what happens in this book. Like, mainly, I know all the points. I don't know like specific things, but I know all the big points. And that's because I never thought I was going to read it. And then one day I was walking around Waterstones and I saw this book and I was like, you know what? Let's just pick it up. Because I'm so curious. Everybody's read this book. And I don't know. I just feel like I want to be in the community. I want to be one of those people that says, yeah, I've read A Little Life. And it's heartbreaking. I want to be one of those people. I want this book to like absolutely torture me, basically. So yeah, basically all I know is that it follows a group of, I think it's like four like men in college, and it follows their life, and that's basically it. It's basically kind of a character study, but like I said, like very many upsetting things happen in this book, and you should check the trigger warnings if you're wanting to read this book. By the way, this vlog is going to be full spoilers as well, so if you want to read this book, then don't watch this video. But yeah, I already know what's happening in this book, so I kind of don't know, because everybody says, oh, you're going to stop at this book, you're going to cry at this book, but I don't know if I'm going to cry at this book, because like I said, I already know what happens in it. But then again, knowing something and someone telling you something that happens in a book is completely different from having vivid detail and like being in the character's mind while reading this book, because people say that this book goes into gruesome amount of detail. So there's a difference between just someone telling you, oh yeah, this happens to this character, oh yeah, this happens to this character, at the end this is what happens, versus you being inside the character's mind, reading what they're going through, like, and then something bad happening to that character. First of all, the author makes you fall in love with the characters, and then something bad happens to those characters, and then while that bad thing is happening to them, you're inside their mind getting all their thoughts and feelings while the author is describing what's happening to them in very gruesome detail, and while you're getting all their thoughts and feelings and negative feelings inside their mind. So yeah, at the end of the day, I know what's going to happen, so maybe I don't think I'm going to cry, but at the end of the day, like I said, it's one thing different from knowing and then actually reading the book, so I think I will. But I'm like scared, because obviously I don't want to cry, because why would I want to make myself upset? I don't want to be upset, I don't want to make myself upset, because that's like masochistic and like torturing yourself. But at the same time, if I don't cry to this book, I'm just going to feel like I'm a robot. Like, who has not cried to this book? I've not seen a single person that has read this book in its entirety and has not cried to it. I've not seen a single person who's finished this book and not cried to it. Except there was this one woman on YouTube that I saw, she did a reading vlog on it, but she said the only reason why she did not cry was because every time she felt like crying, she stopped reading the book and put it down for a couple of minutes and then came back to it later, because she doesn't like to cry. So every time she felt like she was going to cry, she just stopped reading, and that's the only reason why she didn't cry. And that's the only person I've seen in the countless reading vlogs that I've watched of this book. That is the only person I've seen who has not cried to this book, and even they admitted that they would have cried if they didn't stop reading it. So I don't know what to expect, but I'm kind of excited to read this. The writing is so small. Oh my god, that is tiny. I am going to be annotating this as well, because many people say that this is like a 5-star book. They love it, but they would never reread the book. So, and as you know, I love to annotate my 5-star favorite reads. So if this ends up being a 5-star favorite read, which I actually think it might, I've got a strong sense that this is going to be a 5-star, and I haven't had a 5-star in a while actually. So yeah, this is probably going to be my last 5-star of the year. Well, not of the year, because I'm pretty sure I'm not going to be finishing. I'm filming this on the 24th, so I've got a couple like a week until the end of the year. I'm not going to be finishing in a week. This book is huge. This book is definitely going to be finished in January. You're probably going to be seeing this book in January. This book has like 700 pages. I'm not going to be reading this in a quick fashion. So, but yeah, this is probably going to be my first 5-star of the year then, of 2025. Because I could just feel it in my bones, I'm going to love this book. But like I said, most people are so traumatized by this book that they never want to reread it. So that's why I'm going to be annotating it now. Even though I only really annotate books if I know they're going to be, if I know they're going to be a 5-star favourite read. Or if it's like by, for example, if it's a book by Abby Jimenez, which is a 5-star author, I love all of her books. Or if it's a book by Cassandra Clare or Sarah J Maas, I will be annotating all of them. Like, for example, Cassandra Clare, I haven't read the Infernal Devices series, but when I read that, I'm going to annotate it because I know it's going to be 5 stars because I love her writing. And so yeah, I only annotate books in that sense if I know they're my favourite books, if I've read the books and I'm rereading them because they're my favourite, or if I know they're going to be my favourite books because I love the author and I've read from the author before, or I love the series and this book is part of the series. This, I have never read this author, but I just don't know, I've got a feeling it's going to be 5 stars, and I don't really want to reread this again since most people say that they will never reread it again because it's so traumatizing. Rereading this book one time will probably be enough for me, so I think I'm going to annotate it now so I do not have to reread it, because yeah, obviously I'd want to reread it to annotate it, but I wouldn't want to reread it because I don't want to get traumatized again. But yeah, I'm really excited. I'm also really scared to start this book. I don't know if I'm going to start it today, honestly, because today's the 24th, like I said, it's Christmas. I'm trying to have happy times, not sad times. And yeah, today's Christmas because I celebrate on the 24th. So I don't know if I'm actually going to, I don't know if I'm going to start it today. I might start it on the 26th because the 25th is also Christmas Day. And like I said, I don't really want to. But maybe it doesn't get sad straight away because if I start like the beginning of this book tomorrow, if I start this book tomorrow, I don't think the book is like filled with like gory details, sadness and depression straight away, so I could just start it, I think, and I think I'll be fine. So I might start this tomorrow. I just wanted to do the intro today. But yeah, I can't wait to get this vlog uploaded. I've been literally wanting to film this since I bought the book months ago. I've been wanting to film this, but yeah, love you guys. Let's get into it. Hi guys, so I'm currently on part 1 still of The Little Life, chapter 3. I just wanted to update because, sorry, I just wanted to update because yeah, I can see how this book is gonna get sad. Something just happened with Jude. Obviously, like I said, I don't want to talk about the graphic parts but yeah, so something just happened with Jude. This is the first thing we've gotten off Jude where we've just found out that he was taken for the hospital because he self-harmed. So we just found that out, and yeah, that I didn't cry at that part, but I did like start to tear up, as in like my vision was cloudy. I'm still not connected to the characters though, so I can only imagine how worse it's going to get once I start to get more connected to the characters, because I'm connected, but I'm not that connected to the characters yet. It's only the start of the book, so I can only imagine how worse it's going to get once I start getting more connected to the characters, if now I'm like acting like that. So yeah, we'll have to see. But yeah, I just wanted to update that. We've got the first sad moment, the first moment of like, okay, I almost just cried. So yeah. Hi guys. I've been reading a bit. Sorry about that. I've been reading a bit. I'm on part 3 now, chapter 2. Jude has just gotten adopted. I absolutely love Harold. JB is sort of annoying. Like, out of all the characters, if you had to ask me which character I like the least, it's like JB. He's being a bit of annoying. He's an annoying character, but I think he was obviously made to be written like that. But yeah, Jude was adopted, and there's this one line, I don't know if I'm gonna be able to find it, but this one line that absolutely like broke my heart. I don't know if I'm gonna cry at this, by the way. I'm like 200 pages in, and I've definitely teared up, and there has been very sad moments when you learn about Jude's past. Like when you learn about everything that happened in Jude's past and everything, I did tear up at that, and yeah, but I haven't like full blown cried yet. But I think I'm not at the saddest part yet. I think the part that most people get sad of. I've just been watching a couple of vlogs of this book to see where the sad part really kicks in, and it's mainly in part 4 and 5, the happy years and the aximum of equality, where people like get really emotional to those parts. So something happens in those two parts, and apparently like the happy years is like really sad, and obviously the ending, because like I said, I know what happens at the end. But the happy years, which is part 5, I think, 4 and 5. But yeah, so I don't know if I'm gonna cry at those parts, but so far I've just teared up. And there was this part that I really like, that was really sad. I don't know if I'm gonna be able to find it now. Hopefully I am. Oh, we found out that Jude apparently got diseases from what happened with the monks, which absolutely broke my heart. There's this quote where he says, "The diseases I got from them, it's disgusting, I'm disgusting," and he like called himself disgusting for having them, and he like thinks it's his fault, and he thinks that if Harold finds out about the diseases and finds out about what happened to him, that he'll think that he basically deceived him, and he'll think that he's disgusting, which is really sad. Yeah, this whole paragraph. He doesn't know this now, but in the years to come, he will again and again test Harold's claims of devotion. Will throw himself against his promises to see how steadfast they are. He won't even be conscious of that he's doing this, but he will do it anyway. Because part of him will never believe Harold and Julia, as much as he wants to, as much as he thinks he does, he won't, and he will always be convinced that they will eventually tire of him, that they will one day regret their involvement with him, and so he will challenge them. Because when their relationship eventually ends, he will be able to look back and know for certain that he caused it, and not only that, but the specific incident that caused it, and he will never have to wonder or worry about what he did wrong and what he could have done better. But this is in the future. For now, his happiness is flawless. That just broke my heart so bad. So I don't know what happens. I don't know if they have a falling out, but yeah. I'm on that part right now, but I'm gonna take a break and go to sleep because I've got work tomorrow. When do I not have work? But yeah, that part's really sad. I haven't cried at this. I don't want to say I want to cry, but let me just sit you down here so I can just highlight this. I'm not saying I want to cry. I'm just saying that I'm not saying I want to cry. I'm just saying that I feel like if I don't cry, I'm gonna just be. It's like I don't want to be seen as like a heartless monster, because everybody says that this book is really sad. They always cry at this book. I've teared up. Haven't cried yet though. I just don't want to be like a heartless monster who didn't cry at this book. But I've seen many people on TikTok who also didn't cry at the book. So, and I feel like if I don't cry, I've got an excuse that I actually technically know what happens in the book, because I've seen a spoiler reading vlog, so I know what happens, kind of. I don't know every single detail, because obviously I know about the monks, and I know what he's gone through, because obviously the trigger warnings and everything, and I've seen the vlog, and I also know what happens at the end, which is like the very sad part, what happens to him at the end. But yeah, so I know all that, so if I don't cry, I can just use that as an excuse. Like, I'm not a heartless one, so I just already knew what was going to happen. But yeah, so far, this is written beautifully, the book. Which is what I was just writing down, like, this book has been written beautifully, like that paragraph. I've also been listening to it on audiobook. I don't know if that's the problem as well, because I was listening to this on audiobook at like times 2 speed, which is like very fast. Well, for most people it's actually normal pace, but I was listening at 2 times speed because that's usually the normal pace that I listen to books. Like I usually listen to books at that pace, but I was listening to it at that speed, and I don't know if the voice of the narration is just not vibing with it because it's a bit emotionless, especially since it was at 2 times speed because like obviously it's faster. So I felt like it was just blah, 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 and I wasn't taking any of it in because it was going by so fast. And the type of writing that this author writes is like writing that you need to take this in. It's not like, this isn't reading a fluffy romance book or a fantasy book. It's like writing that you need to take in because it's literally a fiction book. So it's not something that you could just walk past or else you're not going to get the full extent. So I'm still listening to this on audiobook as well as reading it. I'm doing both at the same time to really immerse myself into the writing. Whenever I really want to immerse myself into a book, I always listen to it on audiobook and read the book at the same time. That's what I've been doing because I also am annotating it, so I have to read it as well at the same time. But what I did do is I slowed it down and I'm listening to it on like 1.5 speed, which is more of a normal pace for me, but as well it's not too slow because if I put it down to 1 speed, I literally can't read it. Like it's so slow to where I'm reading it faster than the guy is saying it. So I put it up to like 1.5, which is like my normal pace of reading. Like that's how I normally read. So I find that's comfortable for me. So it's been going good. I feel like now that I've put it down, it's a lot more emotion. I feel like I'm watching a TV show and I feel like I can picture things so much more in my head. So if you're having a hard time getting through this book because you can't picture things in your head because maybe you think the writing's a bit too dense, because the writing, I don't know if it's a bit dense, but I don't know how to describe it. But if that's what you think, then I would definitely recommend getting the audiobook for this because it makes it so much easier to picture things in your head. Because when I was reading the first 100 pages of this book, I was struggling a bit to picture everything. It felt like very foreign to me. It felt like I was reading a Shakespearean novel because I as well do not read literary fictions often or any fiction often at all. My genre is usually fantasy or romance. I don't read fictions usually at all, but I want to branch out a bit and read more fictions. That's why I wanted to read this. But yeah, whenever I start a fiction book, it feels like I'm reading a classic book. It feels like, okay, this is written in Shakespearean English, which it's not. It's written in normal English, but that's what it felt like. So I ended up getting the audiobook for this because I had some credits, and it made it so much easier to get through that first part of the book. It made me imagining the stuff in my head made it so much easier. Because I literally wasn't able to do that at the start, but now I feel like it is. So I didn't want it is easier. So I didn't just want to stop listening to the audiobook because, like I said, I didn't know if it was the narration. So what I did is I just slowed the narration down to see if that would make it more emotional, which I do think it has helped because, yeah, I feel like a lot more connected to the characters now. I personally think I'm a lot more connected to the characters now than I was at the start of the book. So I think I'm going to keep it on the speed that it's at, so I can take it in a lot more. But yeah, I'm scared to continue reading this book because I'm scared that it's going to get a lot worse. But at the same time, I'm scared that it's going to get a lot worse, and because it's been hinting that it's going to get a lot worse. I mean, the stuff that Jude has been doing to himself has gotten a lot worse. But we're now at a happy point because he's just been adopted. But I know from the spoiler vlog that I watched that after this point is when it basically all goes downhill. This point, everything starts to go bad. And yeah, I'm at that point right now. So like I said, I'm scared to go through with it because I'm scared of okay, what's going to happen? What is so bad that's going to make people cry? But at the same time, I'm scared to go through with it and I'm like, okay, it's sad, but I'm not crying over it. And then, like I said, I don't want to seem like a heartless monster. So I'm just going to keep reading, but not for right now, because it's getting late. So I'm going to pick this up again tomorrow and go through this. I feel like I'm flying through this book though, for the amount of pages this book has. I thought it'd take me I'm filming this by the TV, so it's probably got terrible lighting because I'm charging my camera, but I've just finished part 3. Like I said, I didn't know my feelings towards BJ because I just like... I didn't like BJ. JB. BJ. Sorry. I didn't like JB. We just got a chapter from his perspective. Tell me why that absolutely just broke my heart completely. And especially the last part, because I honestly don't know whether to be mad or feel sorry for him. I feel more sorry for him than I am mad at him of what he just did to Jude. But because I know he's like on drugs and everything, but I feel more bad for him than I do mad of his imitation that he did of Jude. But I'm not gonna lie, that literally just, that made me cry. That honestly it did. I decided I wanted to do this tear counter thing to like mark how many times I cry. So I've already put one down because it didn't make me like full on bawling, crying. Oh my god, that broke my heart. But it did make me cry. Like tears did escape because, and I'm trying to not cry anymore. Like I'm physically trying to not hold. I'm physically right now trying to hold back tears because that was. It's just so many mixed feelings. It's so many mixed feelings because I don't get where Jude is coming from, but I get where he's coming from at the same time. Like I feel bad for him, but at the same time I feel so bad for Jude. And like how could JB do that to Jude after everything Jude has done for him? Like Jude, every time JB calls, Jude is there. How could he do that? I'm now kind of regretting saying that this book isn't making me cry, because if that little tiny bit of that little tiny imitation incited that much amount of emotion from me, I can only imagine what the other parts of this book is going to incite. Because like I said, I've just finished part 3. I'm now on part 4, which is apparently this is like when it starts to go downhill. Like this is when things start to get apparently bad, and part 4 and part 5, the happy years, are like really sad. But like I think everything from this point is just sadness. Everything from this point. And chapter 1 of part 4 is so long. Like why does it have to be that long? That is so unnecessary. I feel like that's the longest chapter. Chapter 1 of part 4. Like oh my god. It's like probably 20 pages. I haven't counted, but yeah. So I feel like I want to rescind my statement if I don't think I'm going to cry to this book, because I technically already did. Do I think I'm going to like bawl out crying? I honestly don't know. I don't know what these next parts hold, but that was rough. That was very rough. And it's the fact that after he did that, Jude still went to go see him in the hospital and still went to be with him in the hospital when no one else is. Yeah, I need a break. I'll pick up reading again tomorrow. But yeah, for right now, I can't. And it's also getting late. So, yeah, bye. Hi guys. So, I'm on the axiom of equality. I've just met Caleb. He needs to die right now. So, him and Caleb have started, like, going out, I guess. Oh, why can't this camera stay still? This is so annoying. Him and Caleb have started going out, I guess. And he's got some weird thing with his wheelchair, which is really pissing me off. He said, he asked him what was that, and he said, it's my wheelchair, and he said, I don't use it often. He said, good, said Caleb, see that you don't. excuse me. And then he started to explain himself, and apparently his parents were like sick all the time, and I was like starting to feel a bit bad. I was like, oh, okay, so he doesn't like the wheelchair because he's got trauma from his parents being in a wheelchair. Nope, this is why he doesn't like a wheelchair. This is quoted from him. Quoted from him. She got sick when I was in college. Oh my goodness. She got sick when I was in college and never got better. She had face pains, headaches, she was in a sort of constant low-grade discomfort, and although I don't doubt it was real, what bothered me so much is that she never seemed to want to try to get better. She just gave up, as did he. Everywhere you looked, there was evidence of their surrender to illness. First canes, then walkers, then wheelchairs, then scooters and vials of pills and tissues, and the perpetual scent of pain creams and gels. And who knows what else. Stop looking at me. And I was just very confused what he means, surrender to illness. How is using a cane a surrender to your illness? Like, it's not like Jude wants this. If I'm pretty sure many times has Jude mentioned that if there was a surgery that he could do to get rid of all this, he would do the surgery. There's physically nothing he can do though. Some people have incurable illnesses, and it looks like the doctors couldn't find anything wrong with his mum or didn't know what her illness was. So I don't understand how he's blaming someone for having an incurable illness that you can't physically cure, even if you want to. And I don't know how he says that using canes and wheelchairs and walkers are a surrender to your illness. Like, no, love, some people just need them to walk. He's really starting to piss me off, and I don't think this part of the book is gonna go very well for me. It's not gonna go very well, because he's already pissing me off. So, yeah, that's the update. I knew I wasn't gonna like Caleb. I knew something was gonna go wrong, but I didn't think he was gonna, like, abuse him. It didn't make me cry, it's just making me mad. Like, this part right now it's making me sad, obviously, but it's making me more angry than sad. Since when have I updated? Not in a long time. I have been reading this though. Don't think I haven't. We are in the last stretch. I'm currently on the part where... Actually, give me just like 2 seconds. Stay there. So, I'm on the part where Jude has committed his first attempt at... Yeah. I don't know what I can and can't say at YouTube because I'm fairly new to this. I don't want this to get taken down. But yeah, he's committed his full attempt, if you get what I mean. And I've been listening to it on audiobook mainly. I just really want to finish this book. My current thoughts and feelings about this is I feel like I've been very detached throughout this whole process, and I do not know why. I do know why. Like I said at the start of this video, I watched a full spoiler video to this because I didn't think I was going to read it, but then I changed my mind and I wanted to read it. My brain knew what was coming in this book. Many people say that the author makes you feel very attached to the characters and then puts the characters through hell, which is very accurate. But the part that wasn't accurate for me is the attachment part. I don't know if I'm that attached, and I think the reason why I'm not that attached is because I knew what was coming. My brain knew the trauma that was going to happen in this book, and I think instinctively, as soon as I started this book, my brain made itself not get attached. Like, my brain made itself be detached because it knew what was coming. So it wasn't like fully attached, thinking this was just, oh, cute little fiction book, let me pick it up, seems like a cute little story, because I knew it wasn't that. I knew what I was getting into. And yeah, I feel like it made me not get attached. The only part that I truly like cried at, if you could call it that, was the whole chapter about JB and what was going on with him. I don't know why, for some reason, the thing that got me most was JB, since he's one of the characters that isn't really that great, and he's not really a great friend. He's kind of a shitty friend at times. But I don't know why, the part that got me most was JB and like everything that happened when JB was like doing the impersonation. I wasn't crying just for JB. I was like, oh, I feel so bad for him because what he was doing was absolutely disgusting. I was crying for JB and for Jude. Like, I was crying for both of them because of what was happening. Like, their friendship is basically ended. And I was crying for JB's self-sabotage, because in that moment he was self-sabotaging. I don't believe that he truly actually felt that way towards Jude. I think he was self-sabotaging, so I was crying at that, and I was crying at the... yeah. But we've literally got this much left, which seems like a lot, especially since the audiobook... I'm currently listening to the audiobook on 2x speed, and it's still like saying an egregious like amount, like chapters taking 1 hour. The next chapter, 18, is taking apparently 1 hour. I'm on chapter 3, by the way, of the axiom of equality, so I'm going to be going into the happy years in a bit. I've literally only got 12 minutes left on the audiobook. But yeah, I just wanted to update that. Yeah, it was very sad. I've been mainly listening to audiobook because I was on the train this morning. I'm now going to go through and annotate the whole attempt and like tab it, because obviously it was like a sad moment. But yeah, like I said, I was going to keep track of how many like tears I shed, and even during that, like I said, I cried at the JB thing. I didn't fully cry. It was more like a single tear rolled down my cheek, and that was it. It wasn't like a full sobbing like I've seen people do. It was just like... But I'm trying to get in the mood. It's not that I don't want myself to cry. It's not that I want myself to cry. It's just the fact that I don't want to seem like I'm so heartless on this app. I don't want to seem heartless. So, I've got a sad playlist on the TV right now. I'm going to be listening to this on audiobook and while reading to immerse myself even more. Also, I think another reason why it hasn't gotten to me emotionally that much is because of the writing style. I don't know if I really like the writing style. I don't know. I feel like with my sad books, I like the writing style to be a little less complex, even though it's not complex. But when I first started reading this, I was very much like, what? I can't understand any of this. And then when I started listening to the audiobook, I was like, okay, now I understand the English language. So I think the audiobook has been helping a lot. So if you're going into this book and you're like, is this Chinese? I can't understand any of this language. It's like, is this a different language? Then get the audiobook, because that does help. But yeah, it's still complex, but I've been thoroughly enjoying the audiobook. I just can't listen to it as much because I'm also annotating the book, so... But yeah, that's what I'm going to be doing for the next hour, because the playlist is 1 hour long, and I want to read this for at least an hour of that playlist, because I want to get this finished this week. Today is currently Tuesday. This book is going to be finished by the end of this week, and the reason for that is Storm just came out. I literally just got it in the mail. It's sitting in the next room and I need to read it. But I also want to recap on what the heck happened in the 2 books, and I also want to annotate them. So I want to reread Fourth Wing and Iron Flame and annotate them, and then go on to read and annotate Storm. And I want to film my reading of Storm for video as well. As well as I'm also filming Harry Potter Part 2. So I've got a lot of stuff that I want to do, and I feel like I just really want to finish this book because there's so many other books that I want to read. And I've literally been reading this book for a month now, and I really just want to get onto other books. I feel like I'm getting... It's just, the book is so long, and I feel like I'm getting not bored with the book. I'm not bored with the book, because when I'm reading it, it's not boring. But when I put it down, it's a hard time for me to pick it back up. Like, I haven't picked the book back up basically since today, because whenever I put the book down, it's hard to pick it back up. But when I'm reading it, I'm intrigued. But I want to read some other books right now. I really want to start reading other books, but I can't because I'm in the middle of this one, and it's just like, it's just a long book. Very long book. But anyway, let's go. guys, I'm on Dear Comrade. Just finished the Happy Years, which were happy in most parts. I see many people say those years were not happy, but in some parts they were. This book isn't all sadness, because like I said, the Happy Years did have some happy points, but wow. That last bit, I was wondering, because like I said, I know what happens at the end. I was wondering during the Happy Years when Willem and Jude got together, which, by the way, I called it. I knew that Willem liked Jude from the moment that, back in the Axiom of Equality, I think it was, they were talking about, like, a girl being attracted to Jude, and Jude was like, no, she wasn't attracted to me, like, you're crazy, and then Willem actually got mad at him, being like, Jude, why do you think that no one's attracted to you? Have you, like, not looked at yourself? Like, why can no one be attracted to you? I'm like, why is Willem so pressed about this? Like, this feels more than, like, a friend trying to be a friend and, like, boost confidence. This feels like a thing of Willem is attracted to him and he's, like, getting mad at Jude to be like, how can you not see it? But yeah, knew it. But yeah. If I let myself think too much about it, then I will definitely be getting emotional. I just finished the gym right now, so I have absolutely no energy to do anything. So I'm just gonna sit here and read because it's the only thing I have energy to do. And I literally got 2 more parts left. The audiobook says I've got 2 hours left, so I think I can finish this today, hopefully. The audiobook says I've got 2 more hours, so. And it's currently only 3 o'clock. It's 4 o'clock, sorry. About to turn 5, so I think I can definitely finish this because I'm having dinner a little later today. So yeah, but I know this next part's going to be very tough. If the Happy Years had some happy moments, I do think that these next few parts are going to have 0 happy moments. This is going to be tough. Honestly, I would say, I don't know, I would say that I probably wouldn't, last time, in the last clip, I would have said that I'm probably not going to cry to this book. I don't see myself, like I said, the writing style's not getting me, and I'm not as connected. But that last part, if I think about it too much, it does get me, if I think about it too much. So, I don't know what this next part's going to be. But yeah, let's start Dear Comrade, shall we? I'm so excited. Hi guys. I'm on literally the last chapter, I guess you could call it, of the book. I'm on Lipstonard Street, which currently is in Harold's perspective. So let's carry on reading.
He has been dead for 6 years, and you have been dead for 9. JD's most recent show was called Jude Alone, and was of 15 paintings of just him, depicting imagined moments from the years after you died. From those nearly 3 years, he managed to hang on without you. I have tried, but I cannot look at them. I try and try, but I cannot. That he was letting me pretend it. That all the dangerous things he could have done, all the ways he could have broken my heart, were in the past. The stuff of stories. That the time that lay behind us was scary, but the time that lay ahead of us was not. You jumped off the roof, I repeated. Why on earth would you have done such a thing? It's a good story, he said. He even grinned at me. I'll tell you. Please, I said. And then he did. This has been an Audible Studios.
So, I've officially finished A Little Life, the saddest book of all time. And I didn't cry that much. I'm just turning my computer on. I didn't cry that much, but this was a very sad book. And I personally don't recommend people to read this because I just don't know what to do with myself now. Like, this was it's very traumatizing, and I did feel myself tearing up at some parts, and if I think about it too much, yeah. But I think the main reason why I didn't cry at this book is because, one, I already know what was going to happen, like I stated before, so my brain didn't really let me get fully attached to the characters like I wanted to get fully attached to the characters, so I really should not have watched that spoiler video. It's a little tip, even if you think you're not going to want to read a book, you might want to read it, so try to avoid as many spoiler videos as you can. And second, it's also the writing style, I feel like. For me, I feel like I relate emotionally more to books with a sort of simple writing style, like a more less, like, you know, the different writing styles. For example, a fantasy book has a very different writing style to a fiction book. The reason why I don't read many fiction books, and why it's not really my genre is mainly like fantasy and romance. The reason why I don't read many fiction books is because most of the time the way fiction authors write, I don't really vibe with the writing style of fiction books. To me, sometimes fiction books feel like old classics, which, yeah, which that writing style sometimes makes it hard for me to get ingrained into the story, because it takes a long time for me to process what's being said, which takes me a bit of a harder time to get fully into the story. So that's the thing that, for example, it's strange that I didn't cry at this, but at the end of Iron Flame, if you have read Iron Flame and if you know what happens at the end, I full on cried at the end of Iron Flame. And I would definitely say that this book is definitely sadder than Iron Flame. But the reason why I think I cried at that one and didn't cry at this one is just simply because of the writing styles. This is like a book that you have to go into knowing that the writing style is going to be like a classic fiction, heavy duty writing style. For me at least. For other people who read fictions books daily and fiction books are their thing, they might think, what are you talking about, bitch? This is like easy to understand, the writing style's not difficult. But for me, who rarely reads fiction, this writing style was quite difficult for me to get into, and therefore, because of the fact that the writing style was difficult for me to get into, I feel like it sort of held me back even more from getting ingrained to the story. So I had like two factors that made me be not emotionally in the story. One of those factors is that I've already read it, and the second factor is the writing style, which was hard for me to fully ingrain into the story. In terms of rating, I'm not rating this book because I don't think I can rate this book. Like, after reading this book, after reading what Jude goes through, which I'm not saying it's a bad book just because I didn't cry at it like I thought I was going to, or because the writing style was not 100% for me, it's not a bad book. But I can't rate it simply for the fact that just everything that Jude went through in this book, the characters do feel so real. At the same time, I'm saying that it was hard to get into this story because of the writing style, but at the same time, the characters felt so real that just reading this book, reading Jude's story, and then slapping oh, this was this many stars, feels just so rude to me personally. I can't do it. The characters feel too too real for me to be like, oop, this was a fun little 4-star. Like, no, I can't label it. I just don't think I can label it like that. And even if I could label it, and even if I wanted to label it, I don't think I'd have a rating for this book. I don't know what the rating is. I honestly don't. I don't know. I don't think it's a 5-star for me if I were to rate it, but I honestly at the same time don't know what it is, and I just can't rate it for those two reasons. One, I don't know what the rating would be, and second, because I just feel it's an injustice to the story, which has happened to many people. Everything that Jude has struggled with in here has happened to people, and I feel it feels wrong rating this, but this feels like such an autobiographical story, even though it's not, it's fiction, but it just feels wrong, so I'm not going to be rating it. I did enjoy it. It was just a very, very long book, and even though I didn't cry, that doesn't mean that I was completely emotionless throughout it. Like I said, I did shed some tears. I just didn't bawl, cry, snot running down my face like you see everybody else. That personally wasn't my experience. I did shed a few tears. I did get teary-eyed at most parts, but I didn't like full-on blubbering cry over it, like I did with the ending of Iron Flame. So yeah, it's still a very emotionally taxing book just because I didn't bawl like everybody else, which I actually want to normalize. Not like, I want to normalize reading books like this and A Man Called Ove and then sad books in general, and not full on bawl crying like everybody else on YouTube. It doesn't really mean anything. It doesn't mean that that person has more heart than you, or that you're heartless and cold. It just means that maybe that book didn't just move you. For example, that was my reaction to the end of Iron Flame, and to this book it wasn't my reaction. It's just sometimes it's a specific book and how attached you get to the characters, because I didn't get that attached to these characters. But Iron Flame, at one point I was like, okay, I'm fully attached. So yeah, that's what I have to say. I think I don't know what else to say about this book other than that. But yeah, it's a very emotionally taxing book. Like, I'll need a few days of recovery from this book. I feel like I need a good little palate cleanser, which is a good thing that I'm going to be doing my Iron Flame and Fourth Wing and Iron Flame reread, so I can read Onyx Storm, because I feel like I need a little something happier and something I'm familiar with. Well, not happier, because I have seen the Onyx Storm playlist that Rebecca did. Yeah, I don't think Onyx Storm is going to be very much of a happy book. Fingers crossed, hopefully that it is though, because I don't think that book's going to end sad. I think, honestly, their end game. But, you know. So, yeah, it'd be nice to go into something and reread something that I'm familiar with and that I know won't be as emotionally taxing as this book was. I will say I cried more at the end of Iron Flame, but this book is obviously more emotionally taxing than the end of Iron Flame. I don't think I will ever be able to get rid of this book or donate this book, for the simple fact of I've already sticky tabbed it. But one reason why I decided to sticky tab it anyway is because I knew whether I liked this book or not, I wouldn't be able to get rid of it, because this book is just a pivotal moment in time. This book is going to become a classic that is studied. I'm pretty sure it's already a book that's studied heavily. Well, I'm not talking about people on YouTube like celebrities, or not celebrities, like influencers. I'm talking about studied in classrooms by professors. This book is going to be that book that's studied in colleges and universities by professors, by English people. Like, I don't know what I'm saying. I'm tired. I need to catch up on YouTube, because I've literally been reading all day and I want to catch up on YouTube now, watch some happy videos and try and forget that this devastation exists. But yeah, that's the end of the video. I hope you enjoyed. It took me basically the whole month. I started this at the start of the month and it's currently the 22nd of January. So yeah. But yeah, hope you enjoyed this video. My Instagram is down below. I don't really post on there. I'm trying to be a bit better with that, but I mainly want to focus on posting more on TikTok this year. So my Instagram is down below, so is my Goodreads. Like I said, I don't really post on Instagram, but on TikTok I will be posting more mini vlogs and more challenges, like the yes, maybe, no challenge. So definitely go follow me on TikTok, because I'm going to be posting some mini vlogs. I'm planning on reading A Pumpkin Spice Cafe, and I'm not going to be doing a full YouTube vlog on this. I think I've talked about this before, but I can't remember. I'm not going to be doing a full YouTube... Sorry, I'm not going to be doing a full YouTube vlog of me reading A Pumpkin Spice Cafe, because for the simple reason of... it's like a full vlog for one book, and I don't know. I just don't want to do a full vlog on it and have to edit that vlog and everything. So I will actually be doing a mini vlog of me reading that book on TikTok. So if you want to see that when I read that book, it'll be down below on my TikTok, and I definitely will be reading that book sometime this year, probably within the next couple months, and that will definitely be on TikTok, because I definitely do want to film it for TikTok. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Follow me down below and subscribe if you liked and you want to see more videos from me. Expect an Storm reading vlog soon, because that's definitely coming soon. Expect rereading Harry Potter Part 2. Part 1 is somewhere on my channel if you haven't seen it before. I did rereading Harry Potter Part 1. I'm now working on Part 2. I'm currently on Order of the Phoenix. So yeah, this book has just been taking most of my time. Like, this is what I've been mainly reading. I've kind of been putting Order of the Phoenix on the back burner. I want to try and get back into that, because I've been mainly focused on trying to finish this book, because it's huge and I just didn't want this on my conscience anymore. But yeah, I finished. So Harry Potter Part 2, look forward to that and many more videos, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye!